Hello, my name's Ed. Today we have another amateur anime review. Today I have a film called Kite Liberator from 2008. And as always, I apologize if I say people's names wrong. This movie is pretty interesting. It was directed by Yasumi Umetsu, and it's not quite a sequel, but it's kind of a follow up to an earlier movie called Kite. That film is pretty controversial for a couple of reasons. And there's a US version and there's a Japanese version. The US version has cut some things out, or has cut a lot of things out, mostly related to sex and sexuality. But the uncut version is very graphically violent, and the sex scenes in it are basically hardcore pornography. And add that to the fact that the movie has this very dreary, depressing, creepy, coercive tone to it. So, yeah, I actually do not recommend that film just because, I'm not against, explicit material, but I am against the kind of, like I said, creepy fucking tone that the movie has. Sorry. Um, this movie, like I said, is not quite a sequel, so some of the characters are different, and storyline is different. Some of the concepts carry over, but it's really one movie doesn't really have too much to do with the other movie. And as far as I know, this movie, Kite Liberator, really wasn't done with the intentions of having any graphic sex or anything like that in it. Matter of fact, the version I saw had no sex in it whatsoever. So, although there is a little, there's some creeper stuff in there though. Anyway, so getting to this movie, the premise here is pretty interesting in the fact that you've actually got two completely different separate storylines. They connect in a certain way, and you figure out how they connect pretty early on. But when the movie starts, it starts aboard this space station. You get to know these astronauts, and one thing leads to another, and a monster appears, and they have to deal with the monster. Then the other storyline, we meet this young lady who is this kind of assassin vigilante person, and she's killing she's killing criminals and whatnot, and the police are calling her the Angel of Death. And we find out pretty quickly that she's living this double life. On one hand, she's this assassin girl. On the other hand, she's kind of this awkward schoolgirl with glasses who's working part-time at this diner, and we kind of follow along with her as she goes through her little misadventures and tries to make friends on one life and dispensing justice on the other. um, let's see here. I think, well, one thing I did like the character designs. I thought they were good. I thought the animation was decent. Some of the action scenes were okay, though they didn't really blow me away. I did like a couple of the scenes with Mokena, who's the young girl. I did like one scene where it looked like she was developing a friendship with one of the other waitresses at the diner. There seemed to be a thing with a young cop who comes on the scene, and it looked like something could have developed there. I think, unfortunately, and I think this is the big flaw of the movie, all that stuff got sidetracked and got kind of grind to a halt when we had to get back to the monster movie stuff. And that's really the big problem here. It seems, I don't know, but it seems almost as if the director maybe had two different scripts. I don't know. He had his sci-fi monster movie script, and he had his vigilante thriller stuff, and maybe he couldn't raise money to do two separate movies, so he decided to put both ideas together in the same movie. And it kind of loosens the impact, or lessens the impact I should say, of both stories. You don't have a satisfying sci-fi story, and you don't have a satisfying thriller story. I really would have liked it if they had just kind of left the sci-fi stuff out, or should they the monster movie stuff out, and just focused on Okana, Angel Dead stuff. Her taking out criminals, her developing her relationships with the other characters. I think that could have been a really interesting movie. Um, I would let's see here. Now I saw it on Netflix, okay, so it was no big deal. I wouldn't recommend paying full price for this, but if you saw it cheap or you rented it for $1 or $2, I would say check it out. Like I said, the Angel of Death stuff works better than is more interesting, I should say, than the monster movie stuff. At least with the vigilante stuff, you do get to know characters and they you do get to see their motivations and things like that, as opposed to, like I said, the monster movie stuff, which is really just a monster ripping things apart. Okay, and that's it. If you have any opinions about this movie or anything like that, or my commentary, please feel free to leave any comments you want. Thanks, and have a good day.